Hello, everyone. The performer you're about to see is a professional magician and autistic self-advocate from Louisville, Kentucky, who loves to combine magic, comedy, and storytelling to share what living with autism is like for him, because he feels it is nothing to be scared of, but rather a different way of thinking about the world. He has done this show for 6 years at about 16 different French theater festivals, winning awards including the honorarium for Oregon Virtual Fringe and the Best Comedy and Best Variety Show awards at the 2021 Tucson Virtual Fringe. So, would you please welcome Cody Clark?
Hello there, everyone. My name is Cody Clark, and I'm so glad that you chose to watch a different way of thinking. My show in which today I'll combine magic, comedy, and storytelling to share what living with autism is like for me. Which I feel is important because far too often, people's first perceptions of autism tend to be a bit too black and white for my tastes. People think we're either geniuses or failures. They think we're nonverbal or walking dictionaries who won't shut up. They think we're cold and unemotional or having meltdowns at Walmart. Because we're the only ones doing social distancing properly there. There's not much in between, only black and white. Until you have a different way of thinking about autism. Then you'll see it's really a magical, colorful, and quite diverse spectrum full of some of the best people you will ever meet. And that includes you all. In fact, let's have a toast to you, my new friends. If you have drinks, raise them in the air. If you don't, you're at home. Go get a drink. Or lift up your imaginary glass. Get into the magic show spirit. On a count of 3, we'll have a toast to life. Ready? 1, 2, 3. To life! Cheers! I give that toast because life has given me many opportunities. Like the opportunity to share today's show with you. But life has also given me many challenges, many trials, many what we would call knots. Fear not. But if you see your knots as opportunities, they'll fall right off. Throughout my show today, I'll share with you both the opportunities and the knots of living with autism. It has a lot of good traits, more than most people think. But I cannot lie to you, it does indeed have plenty of knots as well. But since I see my knots as opportunities, no knot is too tough for Cody Clark. By the time my show ends, I want everyone to see their knots as opportunities. Even you. Yes, you watching at home. Come up to your screens. You thought this is just going to be a passive recording, where in reality, you are going to be an active participant tying your very own knot. Hold on to the ends for me. Pull out, pull to the left, pull, 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 pull. Let go of your right hand. Now reach for any sort of magic wand, be it a finger, a pencil, or a Harry Potter magic wand. Cast a magic spell of your choice. Now grab the knot and pull down. Pull, pull. Together, we made a knot fall off by magic. But, though we see our knots as opportunities, though as a result, they're chilling in my glass, I must remind you that there will still be lots and lots of battle scars along the way. These remind us that our trials are as much a part of our life as our successes, and that both give us a good reason to have a toast to life. Cheers, my friends. And speaking of, people see autism as both knots and opportunities. And again, it does have its symptoms that are knots, like executive functioning issues, like not knowing all the social rules, like low motor skills. But at the same time, it has lots of symptoms that are opportunities, like our attention to the tiniest and the shiniest details. The fact that we really like to be as fair as possible to our friends and family and everybody. And best of all, my favorite symptom, autistic obsessions. Us with autism were binge watching before binge watching was cool. And when you're autistic, you can't just like something. You must love it. You must become an expert and so good at it that you make yourself lots of money. Yes, kids, this is a genuine nickel. Your grandparents got a stick of gum for this. But your parents can't even get money on a parking meter for this. Actually, I'm not kidding though. I'm just as greedy as all of you. The difference is, my autism makes me so obsessed with magic, I can't imagine a different career path. For one, what other job allows me to learn how to do the coin roll? It's the newest TikTok dance trend. Or its more complex cousin that I don't always get, but I'll try. The edge roll. Phew. I can also combine my other interest of my magic, like my studies in theater, my bachelor's degree from the University of Louisville, my love of old school country music, especially Dolly Parton, and all of my life experiences to my magic too. Thank you. I am far from the only autistic person who's taken this path in their lives. A lot of y'all might know Dan Aykroyd, who is a comedian who is on the autism spectrum. Aside from comedy, his obsession is the paranormal. The kids know that means ghosts. He combined both obsessions to make everyone's favorite Halloween comedy, Ghostbusters, which gave Dan some much needed spare change. $295 million worth. Money we all could really use. Then there's also Susan Boyle, the star of Britain's Got Talent, who also has Asperger's. And she loves to sing, especially in her church's choir. But she had so much social anxiety, she only sang at church until Britain's Got Talent came calling. She worked up her courage to stand in front of Simon Cowell, who had that Simon scowl. She sang, and it turned into a rare Simon smile. She placed second and gained a few new friends. 10 million YouTube views, as a matter of fact. Meanwhile, I can't even get a text back, even in the midst of a pandemic. But last is Temple Grandin, the professor of animal sciences at Colorado State University, who's written many best-selling books linking her work with animals to her autism. And she was the first self-advocate, the first person with autism to share about her autism from her own perspective. She's inspired a lot of people just like me. Our autistic obsessions help us interpret a world that doesn't always dance to the beat of our own drums. Through our obsessions, we find wisdom, gain social skills, and stand to earn lots of cash. Cash, which I'll be happy to give to my loving parents because they saw the opportunity in the knot that is autism from the very beginning. As far back as June 22nd, 1993 even. When I was born to my loving parents, Andrew and Christy Clark. My parents were overjoyed to have me as one of two twins, along with my sister Kelsey, plus my older brother Reese. When I was 15 months young, though, I randomly quit responding to my name. My parents thought I might be going deaf, so they took me to the pediatrician, who confirmed that I was actually autistic. My parents were told to prep for the worst. They were told I'd probably be in assisted living all my life, that I'd never get married, have children, hold down a job, much less be a professional magician. But worst of all, they were told I'd probably never say I love you to them. For them to hear that, I can only imagine how they must have felt. I can only imagine that they must have felt quite empty. But sometimes you do find hope in the most random places. My parents were trying to figure out what to get me for my 3rd birthday. And since I was still nonverbal at that time, I couldn't just tell them. I had to make the best educated guess possible. My parents searched Toys R Us for something I might like, and they got it right. They knew that Thomas the Tank Engine was the toy that would bring me out of my shell. Everyone, get out your train whistles and go with me. Chugga chugga, chugga chugga, chugga chugga. As soon as I saw Thomas, I instantly started playing with him, rolling him up and down my arms, making imaginary train tracks on the floor, and even crying when my sister stole him from me. This was not the way my parents were used to me behaving. The doctor told them I'd be way more quiet. So they knew that Thomas here had a special effect on me. Researchers had statistically proven that Thomas is the most popular children's toy amongst the autism community. Could be because of the bright colors that appeal to our eyes, or the moving wheels and gears, which appeal to our mechanically inclined brains. Or it could be because when Thomas talks, his face does not move. Creepy, I know. Look at him! Look at him! Look at him up close! Since children with autism can't recognize faces, like why a smile means something than a frown, Thomas's face and simple stories became a teaching tool. That's not my theory, though. My theory, it's because when I was a kid in the early 90s, Thomas was voiced by none other than George Carlin. If you don't remember George Carlin, he was one of the first comedians to say cuss words on TV, even getting arrested for doing so a time or two. Being that he was so provocative, when he was tapped to voice this blue fella, people were shook. Not kidding me though. When I first heard George Carlin, I ran up to my mom and was like, guess what 7 words Thomas taught me today? If you can't guess, it's the 7 words that make a family's HBO subscription magically disappear. The most important thing, through Thomas, my parents found hope that reassured them I turned out okay. In the short term, though, it was the source of a lot of temper tantrums, since people with autism can have one-track minds sometimes. Train pun totally intended. I would be so focused on playing with Thomas that I would not budge for anything. When my parents would try to put Thomas up, I'd throw the hugest temper tantrum ever! Trust me, you do not want me to act that out. The only thing that would stop a temper tantrum was when my mom would call my meemaw and have her fix me some ooey, gooey, Velveeta mac and cheese. By a show of hands or comments in the comments section, let me know if you like Velveeta too. America! Velveeta is so American, even the biggest hipsters still eat it. Best of all, my meemaw, knowing this was the bomb that would stop any temper tantrum, she let me help her fix it. She let me pour in the macaronis, let me chop up the 49% real cheese, and let me store everything up while I swung my hips to her old doo-wop records. Feel free to swing and clap. Yes, my friends, 3 bricks of Velveeta out of 1 paper bag. And I'll even show you hardcore, bona fide proof. These are real things of Velveeta. But before you get hungry, we have the cheese. We still have right here our empty. If we're making mac and cheese and we got the cheese in the bag, what's missing? Listen. Yes, indeed. The macaroni for some Velveeta mac and cheese. Aside from fixing me all this ooey, gooey Velveeta mac and cheese, my Meemaw also took me to church sports games too. In Louisville, there is a big Catholic school sports tradition where generations upon generations of families would compete against each other for trophies and social status. When I was 5, I did not know I was autistic, but I did know that there was no way these young autistic muscles were hitting any balls very far. So I thought I'd try coach pitch baseball. I thought since I had 3 chances at bat and my trusty Louisville Slugger, I'd hit the ball out of the park every single time. I took the first ball, handed it to the pitcher, took a swing, ow. This one got hit. But it got hit right to the pitcher. I was so disappointed. But my coach pumped me up and told me that, Cody, you can do this. You can do this. Get back out there and try again. This one went past the pitcher. But it was still a line drive to second. I still had one more shot, one more chance at fame and glory. This one went so close. But just like the other 2, this one also got caught. It was at this point in time I told my parents and my Meemaw that I no longer wanted to play sports anymore. That I didn't care about hitting home runs. I didn't care about winning all the trophies. And I especially didn't care about all the social skills my autism therapist told my parents I'd earn by being on a team with teammates. Yes, when you're a 5-year-old autistic, your life is that pathologized already. I was simply tired of embarrassing myself out in the field week after week just to please them. So we made a deal. They said I could quit as long as I went to my brother's football games. Oh, as well as my sister's basketball games too. I was so relieved to no longer have to play sports. But at the same time, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. I tried every sport, every form of art, even the video game Karaoke Revolution, which, if you've played or checked it out from your local library, you remember that if it wanted to, it could boo you. And boy, did it boo me. It wasn't until the summer right before middle school when our family went on vacation to Gulf Shores, Alabama, where families go when they can't afford Florida. That is when I saw my first magic show because this magician named Bart Rocket gutted a strip mall and made it into his own tourist magic theater. I begged and pleaded for my parents to include it in their vacation. And when we were there, I was mesmerized so much that Bart took notice and called me up on stage. He had me call someone else up on stage. They got into a box. Bart handed this kid who just proved their baseball skills to you a huge blade. We tapped, and just like magic, a kid with almost no motor skills or no sports skills whatsoever sawed a lady in half. All right. Us magicians have our methods. That lady was surely safe no matter what I did. That still inspired me quite a bit though. Even if part of me knew I didn't for real do that, I somehow connected the dots and thought that if I checked out magic books from the library, I would be able to do magic tricks for real. And for real I did. I read all the books, got all the Marvin's Magic kits. I even joined the Louisville Magic Club, of which I am still a proud member. And magic replaced trains as my autistic obsession. So much so, I told my parents I wanted to be a full-time pro. My parents gave me some advice on that. They said a dream is a lot like a piece of rope. Just like a rope, a dream appears to be nice and solid. It appears to have everything all together. But just like a rope, a dream also has fears, which threaten to cut into it. For me, it's the fear of failure. The fear that no matter how many magic shows I do or record, or no matter how many books on magic I'd read, that I would not succeed as a professional magician. That fear cut into me. It cut in me so deep that it stuck out like a sore thumb. That is when I learned it's not a matter of succeeding or failing, but rather you have to fail first in order to succeed. You have to learn what to do, what not to do, hit the library books again and again, and after a few years' time, you'll get the hang of things, and your dreams will be restored. And with my dream restored, I got lots of opportunities. Then I went to middle school, all excited and all like, reading is fun. Don't you just love learning? I got bullied like nobody's business, all because I learned people wondered if I was different. I wasn't sure if they could tell I was autistic, and if they thought my quirks were a weird Andy Kaufman-like stage character, and therefore hipster approved, or if people would assume that I was actually no good. That fear cut into me. Cut into me so much that I can give you some souvenirs. I met a mentor named Richard Ribufo, who shared with me the old actor's adage that there are no secrets on stage. That I shouldn't hide who I am. I should embrace it. I should be emotionally vulnerable with you, my audiences, so that instead of you all fearing my differences, I'd earn your all's respect, and those dreams would be restored. I would like to, at this point, highlight you all. This show isn't all about me or all about my autism story. I want to help you all out with your dreams and fears. First, I like to start with your dreams. I want you to take a moment, think of the dreams you have, the goals that you would really like to achieve. Raise your hand or let me know in the comments when you have a dream in mind. And if you're brave enough, or if you would like support, mention that dream specifically in the comments. Good. Now we'll switch to fears. Do the same for your fears. Think of one thing, or two things even, that stand in the way of your dreams. Raise your hand or comment when you have one in mind. And again, if you're so brave or want support, be specific in the comments, or just simply say yes if that's your preference. I will cut away at those fears now, one by one. I'd say your all's names if I knew them, but these apply to you nonetheless. Just imagine that your fears are being cut right off. Just one more. We have all your fears standing in the way of your dreams right here. On a count of 3, they will fall right off. Ready? 1, 2, 2.5, 3. Yes, your dreams are restored and your fears are gone, everybody! Yes, your dreams are restored and your fears are gone. Dreams restored, fears gone. Dreams restored, fears gone. Okay, one moment. Dreams restored, fears gone. Dreams restored, fears gone. Okay, you caught me. This is where my show's budget met its limit. But also a very powerful lesson that I've just now learned. It is that the worst thing you can do to not let a fear control you is to banish it from your life. Do not tell your fears to go away, or else they'll stick around and come back as stronger knots. That's a funny thing about the way our minds work. If we get rid of something, it only stays further. So to get rid of a fear, we need to accept our fear. Say hi to our fear. We need to embrace it, acknowledge that it's trying its best to protect us, but willingly step over the fear anyway and live our dreams. I want you all to try this because this does take practice. Think of your fears a bit more now. Take a moment, think of your fears. Acknowledge your fears. Say hi to them. Thank them for trying to protect you and keep you safe. But tell it you would like to do this thing anyway. Step over it. Walk toward your dream. And because of that, our dreams have indeed been restored. And with my dreams restored, I went into high school confidently, doing magic for anybody who wanted to watch. There was still one dream, though, I had yet to achieve. I wanted a relationship. Hopefully by now, you've sensed that I'm a person that's full of love, who wants nothing more than to make someone's life absolutely perfect. The one snafu? It is the fact that I could not find someone willing to give me a chance, no matter how many people I asked. Freshman year and sophomore year, straight rejections. Junior year, I was forced to go to one of my twin sisters' volleyball games. I thought volleyball was the most boring sport ever. No offense to any volleyball players or alumni. Until I met this teammate of hers. This teammate was very, very smart. She was very witty. She could crack jokes like nobody's business. She was very non-judgmental. She hung out with the nerds. She hung out with the jocks. She didn't care how it impacted her reputation. She hung out with you because she thought highly of you. She was a very straightforward person, easy to communicate with. I did not have to read social signals. Instead, she was very direct and straightforward, one-on-one. Best of all, she was really, really, really pretty. By the time I had to go, I had so much fun getting to know her that I did not hesitate to ask her for her phone number. To my surprise, she gave it to me. We became so close that summer that I built myself up. I tried to build up the courage to give her my heart. But my nerves tore into me. My nerves convinced me that the thought of dating her was too good to be true. Since I chickened out, another guy asked her out first. I later heard that relationship became abusive. And all these circumstances combined made me the saddest I've ever been. How could I be so confident on stage, yet so inconfident in person? It was at this point in time, I started to wonder if there were some things in life that my magic could not fix. For a while, I didn't think I could. I tried my best to fix everything by magic, to apologize, to reason, only to find out that she never liked me like that in the first place. I could not help but think I was permanently broken in this area. And I did not think I could ever fix these broken pieces. What changed things for me was realizing that maybe I don't need to fix these pieces. That I can either just take these pieces and let them destroy me, or I could take those pieces and turn them into something quite beautiful. It is within the beauty of these broken pieces that I bring you my different way of thinking. Because when you live with a disability, you are often told that you are nothing more than a broken puzzle piece. Sometimes literally a puzzle piece. But here's the thing about puzzle pieces. In the puzzle, they go unnoticed. But apart from the puzzle, they stand out in all their beautiful, unique edges and glory. Living with a disability can be much like that. Rocking the puzzle piece outside of the puzzle, showing everyone your strengths, compensating for your weaknesses, and making sure you and everyone else knows that your disability, whether it be autism or whatnot, is nothing to be scared of, but rather a different way of thinking. Thank you all so much. My name is Cody Clark. Thank you for letting me share my heart with you.